Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Just 1 minute, Zionist, just 1 minute. Just bear with me. All right. Can everybody hear me? Zionist, if you could hear me, just wave your hand. Can you hear me? All right. Pleasant good evening, everyone. You're very welcome to this evening's class of SteelE. Today is the 17th of November, 2021, Wednesday, the 17th of November, 2021. And this evening, I want to acknowledge the presence of Her Excellency Ambassador Doreen Barungi out of Uganda, our COO in the class of SteelE. You're very welcome. Into the class, and pretty out of Nigeria, we have Chukwuemeka, and we also have Dr. Charles. And we just want to welcome you to this evening's class. You are the early birds. So let's see what worm is there for the early birds. The early birds gets the fattest worm. I want to welcome also Zionist Amaka Curry, who will be taking this evening's class. Zionist, you are very welcome. And I want you to enjoy this evening's class. It's the subject for this evening's class. You're welcome. The class is yours.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Once again, I welcome everybody on the platform. I welcome all the Excellency on the platform. And I'm hoping that we will all enjoy the presentation that I'm having to present tonight. Without wasting time, I'm going to go into the discussion. The topic that I'm presenting today is starting over. Before I do that, I have a quote and I have a story. And that's going to help warm us into understanding precisely the subject that I'm trying to present. The quote, my quote is coming from Maya Angelou. I'm sure most of you would have heard about her or knows Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou said that you may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. She said that, in fact, it may be necessary to encounter defeats so that you know who you are, what you can rise from, and how you can still come out of it. And so this quote is followed by my own story. And while I'm sharing this I'm hoping that you begin to draw, have a kind of mental word cloud building up to giving you an understanding of what the context of this presentation today is all about. So I'm going to start with my own life story. Few months after passing my driving in the UK, I felt very comfortable driving locally, but I was always dreading going on dual carriageway or motorway. And for that reason, because of fear, I will pay for taxi to take me to wherever I am going, including school run, shopping, going long distance, that maybe 30-mile radius, I will have to pay for a taxi. And cumulatively, that's very, very expensive for me. So Eventually, I decided I must venture out on my own. I must face my fears because it was becoming very expensive and months had elapsed, going to 1 year, that I never wanted to drive on the motorway or do carriageway. So this very fateful day, I went out. But unfortunately for me, I took the wrong turn. So what happened? I drove towards oncoming vehicle. And that was very, very scary. Every driver horned, they cleared the way, tried to get out of my way. I'm sure, if I were in their position, that they're wondering whether I was drunk, whether I was some kind of alien that is just come to attack them. They would have been very, very apprehensive about what was going on. So I drove into oncoming traffic because I was new to the place, not very new, but I hadn't driven out on such motorway before. So hence the mishap. But what I did was that I did not allow my mistake to dictate my reaction. Or I did not allow my mistake to affect my mood in terms of quick thinking, that courage, that tenacity to want to get out of the situation. Naturally, I'm sure some other person will freeze. I wouldn't want to move on. But I did not allow that to affect me. I collected myself. I informed myself that I've made a mistake and that people are not beyond mistake. And I had to get rid of fear because at that point, safety is involved. And if I fear, safety will be compromised. So I refuse to fear. I refuse to feel ashamed for what I did or the way I drove. And I was so grateful to God that because the drivers cleared out of my way, I had enough room to turn around and move away, leaving bewildered driver behind me wondering whether they've been attacked by an alien. Because I drove off without apologizing. I drove off without a care. I drove off with confidence. And I knew there was no way I could continue driving towards opposite drivers as a means of getting out of my failure. So I had to turn around, and that was done successfully. And so context, like my driving experience, sometimes we too can come to a stop in life only to realize that it's not possible to continue the same way. Broken relationships, broken friendship, broken business covenant, derailment due to ill health, failed costly inventions, loss of their ones. The lists are endless. I'm sure by now you may have guessed the subject of a discussion, although I didn't introduce it earlier on. So I think I gave away the clue, but that's okay. So to reiterate, tonight's topic of discussion is titled Starting Over. When I checked on the definition of starting over, when I checked on the synonyms for starting over, I came across a whole range of definition. But the one that, bear with me, the one that bears close relationship, the one that is closer in meaning to starting over is called retry. Retry. And to retry means to do something again after the first attempt was not successful, or second attempt or fourth attempt. If you've ever followed great inventors of our time, you'll find out that many of them tried successfully 1, 2, 3 times and failed. KFC tried several times and he failed. Excuse me. But eventually, most of them succeeded. Now, the word retry here will be used interchangeably throughout my talk. So you may hear me use start over again, or you may hear me use retry. Both of them are the same thing. Now, starting over is used for saying that you do the whole of something again, starting from the beginning. However, with reference to the context of this evening talk, it may be that we cannot proceed the same way, in which case we have to re-strategize using evaluation tool to establish areas of weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It is true and it is inevitable that on our journey towards success, whatever it is we're wanting to do, relationship, whatever we're into, business ventures, there is no doubt that we're going to come across hiccups. We're going to come across failures, heartbreak, failing many times before you reach your goal is far more common than we all think. But in this talk this evening, and I'm hoping that we all have something to contribute, because I've shared my story about the error I made on the motorway. That is just one of many errors I made in my driving time. I'm hoping that each one of us, we have something to share with us that we help to embolden this very topic, and in the process, helping each one of us here, because we are in the class of SteelE to rework our mindset and the way we have been looking at things in the past. We have a great mentor who is being gifted with wisdom to redirect, reshape, reform our mindset towards a better future, a better career, a better healthy living, and a better relationship. What should we do when we fail, or when we have to start over again, when we have to retry? Let's remember that one of the advice that Her Excellency, that Dr. Anita Defoe, gives to us when she's giving us presentation, and anybody asks question about failure, she always said there is no such thing as failure. It's when the process is not right. If you failed, go look at the process and rework the process again. So rather than trip on our failure, we need to revisit our process. So like great historical inventors, to start over again, we need to stick with what we are working at. Due diligence, firm focused vision, endlessly pushing in the spirit of perseverance, and also to be passionate. Avoid pessimism, and also be compassionate towards yourself and reward yourself. All these pointers are applicable to all aspects of life, be it in business, be it in relationship. You failed in relationship and you're wanting to start again. You failed in business, you're wanting to start again. There are applicable principles that guide you towards moving forward. If you remember, I mentioned earlier, the context, what we're looking at here is not just about starting over. But when you're starting over means that you cannot continue the same way before. You have to find a different way to move on or to start over again. We see that when people talk about great inventors and innovators from history, past and present, they always talk about their success. However, it is rare for us. It is we never talk about how their failure, how they failed, and how they got back again. And studying these people, I'm not sure our mentor, His Excellency, Dr. Bishop Michael SteelE, has got his book out yet. Because I was going to say he is one of those we should revisit his life history, his life story, because rare would somebody be a mentor if they've not been mentored by life, by life affliction, by life pain. The greatest mentors are those who have been through the fiery furnace of life's affliction. So it would be good for us to read his life story and see where he's coming from, how he can get from being on the floor to standing on top of the mountain and yelling at everyone at the bottom of the valley to come up with courage. I was inclined to present this talk from love angle, but that will not be very representative of everybody because we have got our start over in various aspects of life. Some people are sound in their relationship. Some people are sound in their business invention. We are all unique and we are all dynamic. So that's why I've had to mix it up. However, I'm not going to finish without visiting one great love story, one great man of courage, and that's from the Bible. And his name is called Jacob. He's a man who suffered affliction quite a lot and was denied what he was promised. So a covenant, an agreement was broken between himself and his uncle. But instead of packing up, moving out, he was determined to go through the whole process again in order to achieve his vision and his mission. He wasn't going to go away conquered. He was going to go away conquering the land he went to. In terms of business, he was very shrewd. He came with one stick and he left with wealth. And so the processes, the way he came was not the way he went back. And he was determined that he would accomplish exactly what he wanted, what was promised him in terms of livestock. He carried out some intelligent maneuver that meant that his livestock increased. So the process, when he was accosted by his uncle Laban, he did not give in. He said, "Okay, I'll give you this. I'll do this." There was an agreement, and that the odds of him failing was very high. From if you're reading it from if you're reading it from the first time, the first few verses in the Bible, and you don't understand the story, you're thinking that's it for this man. How can he carry out that process and still come out a winner? But he did. And so that is one story that has helped me to shed light to understand this very subject. When Your Excellency gave it to me, and it has again, it has strengthened me. It strengthened my resolve to ensure that because we are not immune from life failures. We are not immune. from life failures. So we must prepare, have that mindset, have the ABC plan. If it happened, based on everything we've heard, discussion, reading, example of other people's life story, if it does happen, what do we do? And I believe this is what the class of SteelE, what we're doing right now, this is what it does to all of us. It helps us to prepare, enlighten, educate our minds. It serves as a compass that enables us to navigate life even when our great mentor is not with us. And so on that note, I wouldn't want to squeeze out the juice in this talk and have it all to myself. I would want to earnestly hear everyone's contribution, and I am going to make notes, and I'm hoping that from your contributions, I will gain something, I will glean something that is going to be impactful in my own life. On this note, I want to stop here, and I want to say thank you very much for listening to me. And thank you very much for listening to me. And I hope to listen. I want to hear from everyone now. Thank you.
All right. I think that we threw a quick spin on that one this evening, and I think I would want for everyone, you could just share your opinion. Dr. Charles, I saw your hand is up. Zionist, I'm going to ask you also to now moderate your show this evening. This is for you to moderate as well. So persons will be speaking with you and dialoguing with you, and I will be just sitting in the back observing, and then at the end, I will give my take. So please moderate your presentation this evening.
Okay, thank you, Your Excellency.
You are very welcome. I'm throwing you off the deep end because when I'm not there, you will be responsible.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Okay.
Dr.
So,
Charles,
Dr. Charles.
Go ahead. You can click on mute to unmute a person if they need to be unmuted.
Yeah. Good evening, Your Excellencies, and everybody that is in the house. I think Zionist struck the gold when she began to talk. And I was quietly listening to her, and her words was giving me inspirations, rekindling what I passed through in life and some other time. So I just made a little note on picking up the pieces of your broken dream and then start all over again. You know, life is full of challenges. Before you make it in this life, you will not expect not to face challenges. You can see thorns without roses, but it is not possible to see roses without thorns. So, and when I was thinking about this, it reminds me of one encounter one prophet named Jeremiah had in the Bible, and that is in Jeremiah 18. Suddenly, according to the biblical narrative, God spoke to this prophet, say, go to the potter's house. I will speak to you there. And the man went to the potter's house, waiting for God to speak to him. God still kept quiet because there is a lesson of life that God wants him to have a first-hand experience from what the potter does. And the man began to narrate his experience. He started, while waiting for God, he started watching the potter as he was molding some vessel. And at a point, the vessel the potter was molding got mad in the hands of the potter. You know, it is easy for the potter to throw away the debris and maybe resign to faith, or to go and pick a brand new raw materials and start over again. But the potter took back the mud vessel, broke it down, and remolded it again and start molding. And then he was able to achieve a very beautiful shape. Then the Bible account says, then God spoke to him immediately. Say, this is how you human beings are in my hands. If somebody is embarking on a journey, there is tendency for that person to meet a waterlow on the way. Either the person resigns to faith, lie down and say, I'm not going to move again, or the person will walk back. But what I believe in starting all over again is that whenever you fail in life or you have a problem in life, you need to sit down first of all, ask yourself a question. Did I do the right thing? Am I able to exhaust all the chances and the opportunity I have? Or am I that reckless? Do I need to calm down, play it cool, and think? And then maybe if I was over speeding, I reduce my speed. Or if I was too slow, I might need to step up the game. And then you ask yourself, the reason why this thing could not work, was it because of my own fault? Was it circumstantial? Was it because of lack of material? Was it because of lack of patience? Here I go again. I think the Bible says again that we should not be sluggish or lazy, but be imitators of those who through faith and patience obtain that which is promised. To succeed in life, you have to deploy faith, which I know the house of SteelE or class of SteelE has been hammering about. Believing in yourself, believing you will make it. That you did not make it today does not mean you will not make it tomorrow. But think on the possibility, the best ways, and then you apply patience. So many of us has faced some things in life, and we drop the dream there. I have a horrible experience. In my life, I have always wanted to be well educated. But when I went to start elementary school or primary school, as you can call it, the headmaster told me that I should go home, that I'm not qualified. Even though I know how to count the numbers and the ABC, D to Z, that my older brothers have been teaching me then. Well, simply because my hand cannot cross over to the other side and touch my ear, the other side. So that was a major disappointment. And he said I should go back to nursery school. I went to nursery school. After 2 years, I enrolled into the primary school. Then, on my finishing the primary school, I took common entrance to enter a high school. I was one of the brightest boy in the class. Even the dumb best we had then, that I helped in the exam, passed and got the highest. I myself, I failed. But because of this vision, I would have, that time, going to business and trading was in vogue. I would have resigned to faith and say, this education will not work. What did I do? I repeated primary 6 and then passed the entrance, went into the high school. Then in the high school, I was one of the best science students. I would have wanted to major in quantum engineering. But to my greatest surprise, when I took the West African Examination Council, I only have 1 credit, and that was in economics. Every other one was 777, which can amount to nothing. It's just ordinary pass. So I have to still go back again. But when I was facing these challenges, one of my cousins that is a businessman, he has been traveling to Hong Kong and Europe, buying some goods. He told me, since you have international passport, abandon this education. Join me in business. Let us travel. But I said to him, no, I want to go to school. Then I went and took GCE and then got admission and entered college. After the college of experience, in my first degree, I got a job. And when I got a job to go and resume, the manager of the place I was supposed to be deployed looked at me, said, he doesn't need me. I should go. Then I left that one. But all these things did not deter me. I decided to continue. Check where I have missed it. And all these things was happening when I was not born again. And suddenly I got born again. I discovered that I can surmount lots of mountains by prayer and by determination. Then I went back to school and enrolled again for master's program. And when I entered into master's program, I discovered that that is where I have to put much effort to study. And whosoever does not give up, but keep on trying, we make it at the end. In the end, I finished master's. And when I finished the master's degree, I got excited. And I said to myself, if I can have this master's degree, I can as well have doctorate. I enrolled for doctorate. Lo and behold, I was able to finish. But this was a very long pipe dream, which I would have backed up if I did not nurse the vision. Another thing is the power of the vision you have is what is going to propel you to move on. There's another Bible passage that says that man's appetite worketh for him, for his belly urges him on. Ability to wake up from your sleep and pick up the pieces of your broken dreams is propelled by the vision of where exactly you want to be. You want to be a great man in life? Then you wouldn't give up. For the hunger of being into a certain position will be a motivating factor for you to start it all over again. And of course, you have to know what is obtainable in the school of patience and hard work. I think, brethren, your excellencies, I will stop here so far so that I will give others room. Because if you allow me, I can go on and on and on to the extent of trying to exhaust the whole subject. But I believe No one man can exhaust the entire subject. And that is why we are in the class of SteelE, where we rub minds. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Charles, for your take on this subject. And this is why exactly I said that, I make my presentation very short and snappy to give others the platform to share, because knowledge is power, but knowledge is not a monopoly. Nobody can monopolize knowledge. One thing I got from you is that very sentence, do not resign to fate. It is so easy when we fall, we want to stay there because we look at where we fall from and decide the height is too much for us. But you saying, do not resign to fate. Fate is crucial in helping us in life, but we must not sit where we've fallen. You also mentioned that we need to establish the failure. And to do this, we need to carry out self-evaluation and situation evaluation, and also to deploy faith. When I made my presentation, the context that I presented was that sometimes we come to a stop in life and realize we cannot proceed the same way. We need to start over. But to start over, we cannot reinvent the wheel. We can't start all over again from, it's like that Bible passage that says you cannot put new wine into an old wineskin. We've got to find a new way to move forward. So before I give the platform to another person, Dr. Charles, hear me out, and I like to glean your wisdom on this again, the context.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Sometimes we come to a stop in life and realize we cannot proceed the same way. How do we proceed?
If we see we cannot proceed in the same way, and that is where this evaluation we are talking about comes to play.
Okay.
If we evaluate and then we check, by the time we put 2 and 2 together, there's one book I read sometimes said there is always a way. It may be that we have not discovered the way yet. And that is where patience and research, thinking, and then still believing and still nursing that vision comes to play. Then if we look around, we have to check around, and then maybe in the end, one of these days, if we watch and pray, God will send us somebody that has the key of what we have been waiting for or working along on. I remember there was one friend of mine, a young man that just finished, he studied medicine in Nigeria and got scholarship to study public health. And when he traveled to Netherlands, he was a real bright boy. He met some expatriates and they took liking on him. They asked him that they will want to bring him in their group, and they gave him an assignment. One research they had problem with for over 10 years. On 2 days, the guy came and delivered. They asked him what happened. He said, I did that 5 years ago. Do you see how they had patience and they never dropped that dream until somebody walked into their lives who had answer to the question they have been asking? Another thing in life is to inquire, make inquiry. Seek people that have higher knowledge. Look at the people who has gone before. That is why the Bible says that we should be imitators of those who through faith and patience obtain that which is promised. And the story of great men The secret of great men are always in their story. And I think that is why mentorship is still necessary. That problem that you find it difficult to solve, check it out. Somebody else, if you research well, may have solved something closer to what you want to solve. Then from there, you will have a clue. Bless you, man.
Thank you very much, Dr. Charles. Thank you for your take. And thank you for your contribution. Hopefully, we get you to speak again with time. I can see Her Excellency, Ambassador Doreen Brungi is on the line. Good evening, Your Excellency. Can you hear me? Mute, yeah. Good evening, Your Excellency. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Your Excellency Zionist. How are you? That was a good presentation.
Thank you. I'm blessed and much so for seeing you tonight. Can you hear me? Okay. Oh.
Me too. I'm also privileged to be in the class of SteelE in the house. Dr. Michael Steele, make a submission to the topic tonight. Starting off. For me, I would like to submit it in different categories of life. The one can be starting over a friendship, one can be starting over a business, one can be starting over a family. And usually starting over is you go through, it's not a good experience, honestly. No one wants to start over. Especially if you have spent so many years of hard work and time and giving all of yourself to whatever you have set yourself to do or to achieve. I would like to start with a family, maybe your children and you're with your parents and you fall out for some reason, you go away for many years without having to relate with your family once again, which is biological. Starting over to love them, starting over to accept them, starting over to support them, and being able to overcome what actually led you from separating yourself from that family. I think for me, it's that is very difficult, but you have to do it. So with that, I think one has to, like Dr. Charles said, you seek people of high knowledge, people who have been on that road before, and they can help you heal. You heal to love again, you heal to forgive, you heal to appreciate that this is the family that God created you in, you came from, and you cannot deny your family. You have to accept it and love them the way they are. That is starting over. If it is a business, some people don't start over. It becomes difficult to start over. But what can help a person is the time when you had the vision to start what you were doing. If it is really inspiration from God, then you are able to start over, because you can self-encourage yourself, self-evaluate yourself, you set yourself apart and say, where did I go wrong? What were my mistakes? Is it possible for me to do it again? Yes, because it came from a place that is good, which is the Lord. So you are able to say, okay, I forget my losses, I cut my losses, I have learned my lesson, and let me start over again, but with a different mindset, with you were able to improve on the areas where you failed in during that time, and you want to make it once again, to start over, and you're able to stand criticism. Okay, so you take criticism positively, and you're like, okay, you also have to read about people who have tried many things, okay, have tried their own visions and how they have handled them. And I'm sure it has not been a straight line for them. They encourage themselves and start over. I remember when there's a time when we were in the class of SteelE, and we had we were such a powerful team. It was a good team, and some people started to disappear slowly. And at the time we felt that we felt a shake, a real shake, and we're like, are we going to survive this storm? But somehow we encouraged ourselves and came back in full swing. And this is what you see, that the class of SteelE has now born a new chapter of its life. So it's a nice start over. And we're glad that the Sheikh came and brought this. So if it's a business, many times, it can be started over by the vision bearer, but in a different way, and it takes off. And then if it comes to friends, relationship with friends, with girlfriends, with boyfriends, sometimes starting over those relationships may not really work. You may just decide to cut your losses and have new people in your life and forget the old chapter of your life and look forward to what is ahead of you. Like now for me, I came to the class of SteelE when I was starting over to relate with people afresh. My old relationships, I had to put them all behind me. And I say, okay, let me embrace a new team of people. I get to know them and try to be happy once again. So I started over my life, and I'm glad that the old went and the new is better. I am international. So I am grateful that the topic the topic tonight actually touches everything that I have said: my family, my business, my friends, and yeah. So that is my submission for tonight, and I would like to allow another person to also contribute to tonight's topic. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Thank you for your contribution. Look for a vision bearer. I bear that in mind. Thank you so much for your take. All right. Who can I go to? Who is willing? Can we ask Chukwuemeka to come in and give us a take on this subject? Do we have Chukwuemeka in the house?
Hello, good evening, Your Excellency.
Oh, good evening. Sorry, Doreen, can you mute yourself, please? Your Excellency, Doreen, can you mute yourself? Thank you. Dr. Charles, can you mute yourself, please?
Yeah, I'm on mute already.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Chukwuemeka, you can go on now. Please give us your take.
Good evening once again, Your Excellencies in the house. It's quite another day. Starting over. I think from what everybody have said, everything has, I would say that almost all angles has been touched. But I want to just add a little to it, just for emphasis sake. as you said during the presentation, that Dr. Anita Defoe will always tell us that if something fails to work, we have to look at the process. And it's always in the process. If you get the right process, you will get the right result. And what I just want to add there is that if something fails, it simply shows that that way, that particular process that you followed that made it fail is not the right process. That one is a way not to do it. When a process fails, that process shows one of the ways in which such a thing will not be achieved. So that teaches an experience not to follow that same way again. So once something stops, fails, or whatever happens, that you need to start all over again, we must equally learn from the past ways not to do, so as not to get the same failed result again. Because it's only a fool or a madman that does same thing over and over again and expect a change. So that's the only thing I want to contribute this night. It's once something stops or fails, it shows a particular way not to do it, and we have to work on the process and find a new way of doing it in order to achieve the desired goal or target. Thank you again for the wonderful presentation and topic.
Thank you, Chukwuemeka. Thank you for your contribution. Yes, actually, you're right. The processes are key, and learning from the past is also very vital. Avoiding repetition of the past is also very crucial if we expect a change that is better than the past. We must avoid repeating the past. We need to go back to the process, the drawing room, and re-strategize, evaluate, like Dr. Charles said, evaluate situation, evaluate ourselves, evaluate our approach, and and move forward with that. So thank you very much, Chukwuemeka. On this note, I'm going to call on Her Excellency Bishop Dr. Comfort Edu to help us, to give us her word of wisdom on this very talk. And if I may refresh again, today's topic is on starting over. The context is sometimes we come to a stop in life and realize that we cannot proceed the same way. Starting over. Your Excellency, could you help us out, please? Could you give us your word of wisdom? Thank you very much.
Good evening, Your Excellency.
Good evening, Your Excellency.
Yeah, I'm just entering the house and I have to open the door. It is locked.
Your Excellency, would you like me to come back to you to give you time to get in?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll come back to you, Your Excellency, please.
More appropriate, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I believe that His Excellency Dr. Donald Ewers is in the house today. Please, Dr. Ewers, if you're in the house, please let's hear your contribution today. The topic is starting over. Starting over. We can when we come to a stop in life, we realize we cannot proceed the same way. Can you give us your take and your contribution, Your Excellency? Thank you very much.
A pleasant good evening to you, Excellency. I came online, I was out with family and I came on, but I think I get the drift of what you're talking, starting over. It's a topic where any one of us with life experience, where starting over, it can come from so many different aspects in life, starting over, whether it is your job, whether it is your secular job, whether it's a topic that we don't really talk about actually is Dr. SteelE always take the Mickey and put a bit of provocation regarding starting over. For example, talking people who are single, starting over, people who are divorced, people who are living on their own. Do you know that's a very frightening experience? That's another topic. In starting over, having a bad relationship, and starting all over. Dr. SteelE mentioned the other day, starting over how many times in relationship and in marriage and so on. He said every time he starts over, it takes a part of him is gone. In starting all in over again, whether in relationship, in marriage, instead of starting all over is something where it is it takes a lot of strength, it takes a lot of wisdom, it takes a lot of endurance to start over. And I'm particularly touching that area of relationship or in marriage or with a partner, starting all over. How do you had a bad experience? Do you want to marry again? Do you want to go to a relationship again? Do you want to go to the starting over? What that person done me, what that person has put you through. So starting all over is not as easy as we sometimes can make it. So it depends. You can start all over in learning to drive and you fail your test and you go back and retake your test. This is a different starting all over. You could be starting over, you're in a job and you don't like it and you move on to another job. That's starting all over. You could be in a business and the business failed and you have to start all over. So different starting all over, with my understanding of life experience, is a different take. So starting all over, it depends. Because if you went through a bad relationship or you went through a bad experience in a marriage, it's not that easy to start all over again. Some people said, I would rather live on my own. I'd rather be on my own instead of to start all over. So starting all over, it's a different aspect and how on, and it takes something to you, a drive in you, a determination in you to start all over again. So I'm just saying this to say that starting over, Zionist, it can come in so much different aspect. It's not as easy as sometimes we can be political correct. We can use the right wording. We can use the right saying. We can do the, but it depends on starting all over. Some of the experiences are so painful. It takes God himself for you to start all over again, especially through a terrible divorce, a terrible marriage, a terrible living with somebody. It takes much to start over. However, you don't remain there. You have to heal yourself and move on. You have to pick up the pieces and move on. So starting all over, it comes in different aspects and different ways how I would interpret starting all over, because I just feel that in life, some things can be quite frightening and it takes much. It takes encouragement, it takes the strength, it takes your willpower to start all over. If you're in a business thing and it's not working, to start all over, it takes much. For example, I've been into a lot of marketing network businesses. I think if every marketing network business you can think of, I've been in them and start all over and been in them and start all over. And the last time I said, this is not for me, it's not working. I am not going back into any marketing marketing network because it's not for me. So you have to come to the place as well. That's how I came to the place with marketing network and say, this is not working for me. And I'm going to something that I feel passionate with. I'm going into a business that it works for me, and I'm going where we said. I think there's a scripture say, "Where your heart is, your treasure lie." Wherever your heart is, and so we starting all over. We have to have the grace to give us the strength to start all over. So my take on starting all over is it takes much pending on you as an individual. Can you get up, pick up the pieces and start over? Have you got the motivation? Have you got the strength? Are you in the right environment? Some people had, as I've said before, bad divorce, bad relationship, and they said they wouldn't marry it again. Some people said, well, I'm determined until I find the right one. So it depends on individual in life journey in starting all over. And you'd really have to have inner strength to start all over, whether it is in business, whether it is in relationship, whether it is in life in general. Starting all over cannot be easy. However, we live in the land of the living. We have to survive. It's a survival work. And by having encouragement and strength and a platform like the class of SteelE, where you can get encouragement and mentoring and support, this will give you what we would call a booster. The government is talking for the COVID-19 that having a booster. A lot of time, us as human beings, we need a booster to help us to move to the journey, to move to the next level. That's what I like to say to you. I hand back to you, Zionist, Your Excellency. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Thank you for your contribution. However, I would like to ask you one teeny-weeny question regarding what you haven't said, or what you may have said, but I never heard you clearly. The question is, how do we ensure we don't proceed the same way if we have to start over? What key wisdom can you give to us to not to proceed if we have to start over? How do we ensure we don't proceed the same way?
Are you saying making the same mistake or going down the same journey? I use, for example, marketing network. I've been in so from Amway, Clean Easy, City Solution, Genestar, all the different things. And I'm just repeating myself, it's not working out for me. I have to talk to people. I think when people to marketing network, I use that as an example. And I came to the conclusion and I said to myself, you have to first be honest to yourself. And I had to be honest with myself. I said, this don't seem it's working for me. This is not for me. And then when I let go, I had a sense of peace. I had a sense of tranquility. I had a sense of a weight has lifted off my shoulder, off my head. And I said, well, this is not working for me. I've let it go. Some things you have to let go. It's not working out. It's not for me. You're going into another relationship. If a young man or young woman is going to marry, and you're seeing the red flags, there are red flags start to show itself. And you see this, no, this is going back from that relationship. The behavior of that person is showing red flags. So in life, I would use the expression, there are red flags. And so you must have the maturity to know that the red flags are showing and it's not for you. Let go and move on to something else. Let go and do something else different. And sometimes we have to do something different. If you're going down that road, or that if, for example, the sat-nav, you put the code and the direction to go to a destiny, the sat-nav, you may make a wrong turn. However, the sat-nav has a way to reverse itself and bring you back on the straight and narrow way to your destination. We have red flags. The red flags is showing, take alert and learn off your experience. What you've done wrong or what seems to went wrong, don't go back and repeat it. That's how I look at life journey. And life is a cycle. You don't want to be going round and round and round and round for another 40 years in the same position. Does that answer your question, Your Excellency?
Absolutely, Your Excellency. The key word there is the red flag. let
Yes.
go. Let
Yes.
go.
Yes.
It's not easy to let go. But if the flag is red, then
Yes.
the only option is to let go, because red is danger. Red is not a sign of staying put. And so, yeah, that's register. That's the key word that I'm looking for. And this is more, this is applicable in all aspects, in all facets of relationship, even in business, but more importantly in the human relationship. When it's not working, to know, to learn, to be brave enough to know that you have to, one have to let go, because the flag is flashing red. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Thank you for your take. Thank you. Now I'm going to switch over to Her Excellency, Bishop Dr. Comfort Edu. Your Excellency, pardon me for jumping on you. It's just that we were expecting, waiting for that wisdom, word of wisdom from you, and I had no idea you were just coming in. Next time, I must make sure that you're settled before I can bring out any questions. I was just curious, so forgive me. And I hope you're settled, and I hope your journey back home was good and safe. So I leave the platform now for you to bathe us with your word of wisdom. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Zionist. You know, I love the title Zionist. Always keep it. It
Thank you.
helps you move on and move on. Yeah. Once again, good evening, Your Excellencies in the house, and then everybody on the platform. Yes, it was a pleasant journey coming back. Just from work, there is a crusade ahead of us, and all hands are on deck. Though I'm not all that strong now, but I wanted to get involved because I was to be on, I was to be coming on soon. That's the class of SteelE. So I don't like somebody to tell me that when we were holding ours, where were you? Now yours is in, you want all our hands to be on deck. Anyway, by the way, that topic you brought up is very, very timely. You know, there are seasons in time when things got to change. That's what I always thought. They didn't got to change. You cannot stick on to something that is not progressing, something that is not yielding any fruit, something that is not giving you what you are expecting. There are two ways to it. Most often I look at it. The other, you go by what Jesus said, that let them keep on going, at the end we'll decide. But we are human beings. Can we allow things to go on negatively and then haphazardly, and then we look on and we look on and we are growing and we will see that the thing does not come to fruit? We will not be happy. So the chief of protocol will say that when the light shows, I will say that the indicators that directs you to the point that this thing that is going on, if you don't put a stop to it, it will ruin your life. There's a saying that when there's going to be a rain, there are signs that shows that the rain is coming. The clouds will tell you. In some of the countries, the wind will also give you that indicator. So starting all over is not a bad idea. Sometimes it's very difficult, especially when you have gone a long way and you have reached a point where you are expecting, let me call it, you're expecting fruits to be on the trees, and there are nothing on the trees. You are expecting some satisfaction and you're not seeing anything. Maybe it could be a business, it could be a family life, it could be anything. You have a goal that you thought that at this time of the journey, it should be matured for you to use it for something. But it is not like that. Life has its own dynamics. Starting all over is not easy. Sometimes it is good for you, it's good for you. And sometimes I'll not say it is bad, but it, it, it is not all that palatable, or it is not good for you to say you are ending something which you should, as a Christian, you say, oh, let my faith carry me through. All these scenarios that I've put across, it needs you to be a woman or a man of prayer to know that what is going on or where I have reached, I'm not seeing fruits. So why don't I start all over again? The inner spirit will tell you that this road that you are charting, or you are following, or you are going through will not end properly. There's a saying, I think somebody was giving a presentation when I was in the vehicle. You see, it talks about the potter. Once something is not well put or well shaped, and you are, let me put it this way, destroying it to start a new thing. Sometimes you may think that, why should I do that? But we always take cue from the Bible. If Jeremiah was taken to a potter's lord for him to that was being molded into maybe a cup, about to be a bowl, there may be wisdom or sense in it. So in our life, once things got to a way that you think that, oh, I have to start all over again, don't call it that you have failed. It is never a failure. I remember Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. before said something that when you don't win, you learn. That is life. If you don't win, you learn. So if something doesn't go well, it rather speaks to you that maybe a way that you have taken may not be the correct way. So you sit down and you take stock, pray, and you ask yourself, now which way do I go? Sometimes it will take you back to number one or the first step. It is better to start on the first step and end well than to find a shortcut. There's no shortcut in life. All the shortcuts that I have tried personally in life, I did not get where I want to. I remember there was a time in my infancy, we had those days when we are going to senior high school, we write an exam called common entrance. I don't know whether the Nigerians also do the same. And lo and behold, we passed and we're waiting for our time for interview. And our father passed on. And our father passed on, we were taken to our grandfather's place. You know, our mother could have taken us to a senior high school and forced our way through, but she didn't. She let us go back to the elementary school, and then the following year resit again. It was not easy with me, but all of a sudden I said, okay, it doesn't matter, let us go. Even who is going to pay for our school fees? Our father has passed on. So we went back and I sat for the common trust. And by his grace, I passed again. No, I didn't get the school that I wanted. The first time was a very good school, one of the best schools. I didn't get. And I was taken to another third grade school. But I went all the same. And lo and behold, the second year, she had somebody who took me to the one of the best schools in a different place. And that was where I had somebody to pay for my 5 years scholarship. A single-handed person. That person I have not set eyes on her since. I've been writing. When I was taken to the third grade school, no, you, someone would have said, why should I be in this school? But I was there. And then I met a pen pal. That pen pal I have not seen before, but we were writing to each other. And then she asked me about my life, and I told her that I'm so and so and so and so. I have siblings, and then I have my mother is there, but my father has passed on. And then I also asked about her, and we were writing to each other. I didn't know that the pen pal, she is in England. The pen pal, according to the story that was forwarded to me, when the pen pal read that I have lost my father and we were a sibling of 7, she broke into tears. She took a cap and then was running through the school. I have got a pen pal, but her father has passed on. And people were donating. She raised funds for me. And that was what was used to pay off all my 5 years school. So I said, oh, if I have gone to the other school and then I found shortcut, I wouldn't have gotten this privilege. So I always tell myself that when you think of opportunity is lost, never think it that way. Tell yourself that though you see yourself opportunity is lost, another door is being opened to you, and there may be a better opportunity. So my starting off all again for the tertiary examination, that is the common entrance examination, did not end badly for me. It was good for me. I want to say that as we move on in life, let us not think of rushing to finish. If something is not going on well, you sit back and you look at it, whether what you are doing, it is your fault or there's something that will be added to it. You take stock. It's a time of taking stock. And many people don't like taking stock. They like to force their way through. They like to bulldoze their way through. Yeah, there are times that you have to bulldoze your way through, but in life, dealing with life, the best way is to look at it and then work it out and come out successful. And this juncture, I'll say thank you so much. And before I leave, it is like the fire service people will tell you that when you catch fire, you fall down and you roll before you get up. When you catch fire, you don't run with it. You just fall down and then you roll and then you get up again. The rolling will be telling your mind up and down to see where you have to solve the situation. And then life, it says, normally give you the answers when you become quiet and in confidence in the Lord. The Lord will speak to your spirit and tell you which way to go. Thank you so much. And have a pleasant evening.
Oh, thank you ever so much, Your Excellency. Thank you so much. I mean, if you were to speak from now till till morning, I'll bring my sleeping bag and just sit back and listen to you. Thank you ever so much. Wonderful. Don't call starting over as a failure, and don't rush to finish. Start on first step and end well, rather than stopping on 2 steps, 3 steps, and falling. Be open-minded to potential open doors. And then the analogy of the fire service, you catch the fire, you roll on the floor. It's all wonderful words of wisdom that I believe will go a long way in enhancing, what we already know, what we don't know, decision that some of us are making, that hard decision, should I not? No, my heart is broken. I don't want nobody to break my heart no more. So I'm just going to seal myself in this bubble wrap and stay in there, but all that you have given to us, we ensure that we don't bubble wrap ourselves, but we apply steps of wisdom like you've given to us, and that we see us through. Thank you ever so much, Your Excellency, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening. As I move on to the next person in the house, I'm sure my great mentor, His Excellency Architect Olukoya, is on the line. If you're on the line, please, I can't see you because I'm using a small screen. If you are here today, please help us with today's subject of discussion. And I reiterate, the title is Starting Over Again. If we have to stop in life and realize we can proceed the same way, how do we proceed? Thank you, Your Excellency Olukoya, if you're on the line.
Your Excellency, I want to apologize on the behalf of His Excellency Olukoya. He's not on the line. He was on the line earlier, but he's no longer on. I think the network challenges are there, as you know, sometimes that happens. With that being said, I've observed everyone have spoken, and I want to, if I may have this privilege first, to thank you, Zionist Amaka Curdy. Thank you so very much for moderating this evening, for your submission, and for your bravery. Stepping out and biting the bullet. My wife, the First Lady, said to me, "Oh, darling, she's very short-winded. She's not going to be very long, because Zionist is normally going to be quick to get in and fast to get out. Quick. Because it's a testimony to your background to some degree. But don't worry, I'm going to be challenging you because I need to have at least 1 hour out of you of presentation very soon. I'm going to be pushing you continually. So please don't take it as this is the last, but your next submission, I'm going to expect at least 30 minutes from you of presentation or 45 minutes. I want you to push your limit and your capacity to deliver a subject matter to an audience that is hungry for your wisdom and your input. But thank you so very much for that this evening. Well done. And thank you also for moderating. I think you did very well in moderating this evening. I want to acknowledge the person of His Excellency Dr. Donald Ewers, our Chief Protocol. Thank you so very much for popping in, Your Excellency Dr. Ewers, Bishop Comfort, and all of the others that are here, Dr. Charles and Chuke Omeka, and the First Lady, who is obviously listening in the background. I want you to take some notes as I add value to this evening's class, and specifically why I asked about starting over. I want you to take some notes for future presentations on starting over. The first point that is very, very important is closure. The first point that is critical is closure. You cannot start over before you stop. That's the most important note to take. Zionists, you cannot turn around a car unless the car stops going in the direction it's currently going in. And let's draw that scenario and look at our lives. A lot of us want to start something new, but we haven't gotten any closure on what we're currently doing. And if you try to start something without getting closure, you'll have conflict and you will also have chaos. A lot of people jump into things chaotically because they did not do it the correct way. Get closure. Anything you have to start over, make sure you get closure. I'm done with this. For example, I want to draw strength from His Excellency Dr. Ewers mentioning about closure from network marketing. He closed one network marketing and went into another network marketing. So it's in the same vein, but they're two different entities. You close one and you go into the other one. But then he gets to the place where he recognized network marketing is not for me. So it's different than this network marketing opportunity didn't work. I'm done with network marketing. It was this networking opportunity didn't work. Let me try another networking opportunity. Are you with me? And you get the dynamic of you're not starting over, you're just trying to find your place. So I want us to identify the difference between trying to find our place and starting over. Because a lot of individuals wrongfully label relationship as starting over. Relationships are never starting over. Relationship is trying to find the fit that is going to work for you. Trying to find the fit that is going to work for you. What do I mean by that? Some persons look at a bad marriage as I am finished with married life. I'm finished with relationships. I'm going to start over. What are you going to start over and do? What is going to be different in a start over that every single relationship you get involved with is going to have the same dynamics? The same dynamics of personality, the same dynamics of way and will, the same dynamics of character, the same dynamics of opinion and attitude. It's going to be in every single relationship you get into. So if you were thinking of relationship as starting over, error. You're not starting over. You're trying to find one that fits you. You have a girlfriend and a boyfriend right now and it doesn't work. Then you don't start over. You try to find a relationship that fits. You bring a closure to that chapter, but you remain in an environment of identifying, I want to have a life companion. I want to spend the rest of my life in a relationship with somebody who's going to love me and treat me with respect and with honor. And somebody who equally I want to love and treat with respect and honor. So if you get to the place where you say, nope, I'm done with this. I'm finished with this relationship thing. Emotionally, psychologically, physically, you come to a shutdown of your emotions, your desire, your will, your hopes, your expectations. In a relationship, you come to a standstill. And you never realize it that you're at a standstill. And you go through 1 year single, 2 years single, 3 years single, and you ask yourself the question, why am I not attracting anybody else? Why am I not finding the right person? Well, the truth of the matter is you've stopped. You stopped. you stopped. How could you stop the car and expect that it's going to be going anywhere? The only thing that's going to be happening is you're going to be in the middle of the road with a lot of angry people honking their horn at you. Beep, beep. Then if you're not interested in driving, get out the road. Move out of the way. And a lot of you are stopped, and this is happening to you. You're getting all these horns honking at you, everybody beeping at you. Then why are you in the road if you're not driving and going somewhere? Then why are you here? Because they recognize you, they can see you, but you have stopped. That's not what I'm looking for. You're not looking for anything. You've stopped. That's not what I want. You don't want anything. You have stopped. You're waiting to start over. Have I made sense with that little dynamic that I just shared to some of y'all that are listening? You're stopped in the middle of the road and causing mayhem and chaos. Because there are others who are driving along that same very road and they are looking, they are wanting, they are hoping, they have not stopped. They're moving to find a relationship. They're moving to find a companion. But you are just in the middle of the road, stopped, frustrating the movement of traffic. And everybody honking the horn at you, and you're saying, why are you always interfering with me? Why are you blowing the horn at me? Well, it is really and truly because you are in the road. If you have stopped, park your car, get out of the car, and go and sit somewhere else. But please, for God's sake, get out of the road. Because the more people that honk their horn at you, the angrier you're becoming, and you're becoming useless on the journey to a relationship. And a lot of you are seated useless to relationships. Why? Because you're just blocking the road. You're tall and handsome. And all of these drivers that are looking to go to your destination, when they blow the horn at you, asking you if you need a ride, oh, sorry, not you. I'm not interested. You're wasting time. Get out of the road. Park your car and sit down in your front house or something. Get off the relationship road for God's sake. I am your mentor. Let me tell it to you straight up. You are a frustration on the road to relationship. Get off the darn road if you're just going to stand in the way and say, I am stuck and I'm ready to when I'm going to start over. Good. Don't let me belabor that point too much, because I believe that a lot of you who are blocking the road have finally got it, and you're either going to move your car out of the road or you're going to turn around and start driving. And when people blow at you, you will look through the window and say, hi, and not, why are you blowing at me? I am not interested. All right. Here's the interesting thing that I will tell you. And you know, I keep going back to my personal experience. I keep going back to it. Why do I keep going back to it? Because you see, a lot of you have Bible stories and parables and other people's stories that you tell. But I don't tell other people's stories. I tell mine. Experience teaches us wisdom. And my wisdom comes from the experiences that I've had. And I'm not ashamed of them, because those are the keys that make me into a great mentor that I am. And I'm not ashamed of them. Some people look and say, why are you always talking about this like you're glorying in it? No, it's not about glorying in it. It's about recognizing that the journey that I came gave me some wisdom that I never had before. You in life, you're either going to learn or love. Either you love and be loved back, or you love and you learn. Either you're going to go on a journey and be successful on that journey, or you're going to go on that journey and learn what failure is like. But because you learned what failure is like on the way, does it mean that you're going to stop going? Does it mean that you have reached your destination where failure stopped you? If you're driving your car to go to one city and you get a flat tire, what do? You get out. You recognize, whoops, I've got a flat tire. Point number one. Point number two, I can't keep going on this flat tire. Otherwise, I will destroy the rim. I can't keep going and destroying the rim. Otherwise, I would destroy my steering rod. And if I continue this way, guess what? I will destroy the car and I will not get on my destination. So what do you need to do? Get out, identify you've got a flat tire. Fine. Stop, fix your flat tire, and make a decision. I'm going to go on that journey and complete it, or I'm going to park this car, buy a new car, and start the journey again, or I'm going to park this car and get a lift. But you have to remember something. A lot of us live life as though life is a destination. Life is not a destination. Life is a journey. You should take that note carefully. Life is not a destination. Life is a journey. And on the journey of life, you're going to have disappointments, heartaches that can either be heartaches that you get healed, or there will be heartbreak that never get healed. Some of you are walking around with heartbreak, not heartache. You see, heartache can be remedied. Heartache can be soothed, but heartbreak, a lot of times, you can only put it in a casket and bury it. And a lot of you have mindsets that are just fit for the grave. I'm sorry to be your mentor to tell you the truth, but a lot of you have relationship mindsets that are just fit for the grave. See you in heaven, see you in eternity. But I can assure you, I will not see you successful because you are walking around with a very grave attitude, a very grave disposition. And as a result of that, you will not find a companion because you're not looking for one. You have stopped. You will not start another business. Why? Because you have a grave attitude towards being an entrepreneur. And as a result of your grave attitude, you will just bury your vision and your aspiration to be a successful businessman or businesswoman. A lot of you have grave thinking. I will never be any good. I will never make it. I keep trying, and every time I try, I fail. My God, if that's your mindset and that's your attitude, try again and be very right. Fail right after you've tried. And guess what? After you try again, guess what's going to happen? You will fail again. Sure as night follows day, if you want it, you nurture it, you harp on it, you praise it, you celebrate it, you worship it, you speak about it, you will receive it. Do you think that I wanted to be married and remarried and remarried? Do you think I really wanted that? No. I wanted exactly what I have right now. An excellent wife, a super fantastic companion, good partnership, good friendship, good conversation, a wonderful son, two beautiful daughters, a great family. That's what I wanted. And that's what I have. Why? Because that's what I was pursuing. In the midst of the chaos, in the midst of the difficulties, in the midst of the harsh lessons, in the midst of the painful heartaches, in the midst of the difficulties, all I was pursuing was exactly what I have right now, a fantastic companionship. A lot of you were expecting to be in heaven. No troubles, no conflict. Do what I say the way I say, live the way I want. This is my way, this is the glory way, this is the grand way. A lot of you expect that in relationships. Can I tell you the honest truth? Park that car and get off the road of relationship if that's what you're looking for. It's not on the road. If your relationship road is expecting grandeur and live happily ever after, please park that car. It doesn't exist. You run out of fuel and you will never reach that destination. Why? Because that destination does not exist. Oh, I want to find Mr. Right, tall, dark, and handsome, or Mistress Right. Beautiful, nice curves, nice conversation. Doesn't exist. What exists is individuals that have a mind of their own and they want to engage. They want to debate and discuss and agree and disagree and fight and make up and break up and get angry at you and wish they were not with you and when they're not with you, wish they could get you back next to them and want to know, how can I even think of living without you? And then they want to know, how on God's earth can I ever think of living one day with you again? Those are the dynamics of relationship that you have to go through. My wife spells it out so beautifully. I hate that I love you. The times that I frustrate her, I hate that I love you. Oh, but the times that I'm away, I hate you're away from me. Why? Because those are the dynamics of relationship. You're in a business, no money, no return on investment, investing long and sweating and tired and overwhelmed and frustrated and tired. I'm going to pack in this business. It's not worth it. Come on. How dare you think the market is just going to sit down and be in your favor all the time? How dare you think that you're the only person on the corner store that is selling sweets? Somebody else is going to sell sweets. Hello? Somebody else is going to sell the same thing you're selling, the same way you're selling it, and they're going to be better than you. And you just have to compete. You don't have a choice. Everybody wants a golden successful niche. I just want to be in that circle of receiving that is never going to fail me. It's never going to shut down. It's just going to be perfect. Everybody wants the perfect network marketing solution. Ooh, this one is going to make me $1 billion. Yes, yes, yes. And guess who's making the $1 billion? Those who are telling you that it will make you $1 billion. And they're making $1 billion from you. Why? Because they know $1 billion does not exist like this. It doesn't work like you think it works. I always ask myself a question, and people that go to these people that tell them lottery numbers, I say to myself, why would somebody charge me $30 to tell me the lottery numbers when they can go and buy the lottery ticket themselves and win the lottery? And yet people are so dumb to go and give them their money. Oh, my psychic or my guru or whatever you call those people told me this. How much did you pay for that information? Why don't they pay for the information and come out of this psycho foolishness? Because there's no secret weapon to success. Starting over does not exist unless you've come to a conclusion of what you were doing and you decide, I need to start over. Can I tell you what starting over is? And pardon me for saying it this way. Please forgive me, but it might sound horrible. No, I don't even want to say it. No, let me say that one. You know, sometimes it's good to think before you speak. And what I was thinking to say is not appropriate to say. So let me don't say it. But I will say this. In life, don't always be thinking about starting over. Be thinking about, how am I going to change my position? How am I going to do this a better way, a different way? How am I going to approach this different? For example, in business, how many of you have been looking at your business and you run after your business? You're running and you're hustling and you're going, and it's not working your way. Can I give you a secret? Sometimes you let the business just stand and go. Let the business just stand and go. You don't have to be the one that is always doing it and pushing it and probing it. It exists for a purpose, to meet a need. And once that need is met, you will reap the benefits. But don't throw in the towel because it is not going in your time and in your season. Don't start over. Just look at ways of reevaluating what you do. I want to close this discussion with you by talking about persons that are looking for relationship and companionship. I want to talk to you briefly, briefly and quickly. And this is being broadcast live, so those listening, it will be helpful to you. Some of you are pursuers and you go after the wrong thing. And you keep going after the wrong thing. Let me teach you a little secret. Why don't you change your approach to relationship? Why don't you go places and receive a chase? Receive the chase and look at what's chasing you. Focus on who's giving you attention. Because you see, a lot of times the reason why you're not being successful is because you are targeting things that are out of your league, out of your reach, out of your capacity, out of your ability, and you are not being honest with yourself. This is out of your league, ma'am. This is out of your league, sir. Get real. So change your approach and wait patiently and see who's pursuing you. Ooh, why is him or her pursuing me? See what it is they see and what they're looking for and improve on it. Even if you don't accept the person, accept the pursuit and see what it is that they were pursuing you for. Why are they pursuing you? And improve on that thing. That maybe somebody else who wasn't seeing it can see it. But change your approach. And let me talk about those that are in business. A lot of you want to throw in the towel on your business. Don't throw in the towel on your business. Look at your approach to it. Look at your market. Look at your audience. What is changing that you are refusing to identify is changing? What are your competitors doing? A lot of individuals want to get into business and they don't do any market research. They don't have no knowledge of what the competitors are doing. What is it that your competitor is doing that is causing them to be successful and you are not being successful? What is it they're doing? Why are they being successful in this time of COVID and in this time when things are falling apart? What are they doing that is causing them to be successful that I am not doing? Why do you think some people come and sit down in your meetings and they listen to you and then they run away from you? Why? Because they're looking at what are you doing that is causing you to be resilient? What are you doing that is causing you to be successful? And then they run away when they get it and they leave you. Why? Because they get what they came for. So you need to look at your market, your marketing, your environment, and determine what do I need to change to get a better result, a different result. How can I carry on the class of SteelE for free all of this time and then bring on the youth class of SteelE for free all of this time? What am I doing that is causing me to do this successfully, passionately, with so much zeal and refusing to quit for the next 100 years should the Lord tarry? What is it? That's the secret. Join me in the next masterclass and I'll tell you what it is maybe. I'm Dr. Michael SteelE and this is the class of SteelE. Thank you so very much for listening in. And if you have any comment, we are live on YouTube and this class is also being recorded. And if you want to join us, you can visit us on theclassofsteele.com, which is our website. And you can connect with a number of us through Facebook, through LinkedIn, and our social media platforms. I want to identify the person of Her Excellency Dr. Anita Davis Defoe, who is our chief lecturer and teacher, mentor as well in the class of SteelE. His Excellency Alakola Olusogun Olukoya. I want to identify him, Her Excellency Bishop Dr. Comfort Adu, our Chief of Protocol, His Excellency Dr. Donald Ewers, and I also want to acknowledge in her absence, Her Excellency Doreen Barunji, our COO. We also have with us this evening Ambassador Shika Kargbu, and he is our coordinator for Sierra Leone and our youth director in Sierra Leone region. Thank you so very much for being with us. I acknowledge Her Excellency Jeannie SteelE, the First Lady. for being with us in the class of SteelE. Zionist Amaka Curry, thank you so very much this evening for opening a wonderful, wonderful discussion with regards to starting over. Give your take, Zionist, for those who are listening on our YouTube channel and listening in. What is your take on my submission this evening, Zionist?
Thank you, Your Excellency. Life is a journey, and a lot of us live our life like as though it is a destination, but it is a journey. It's full of heartache and heartbreak. And how we approach our starting over again will determine how we arrive at our destination. And most important of all, which I did not take into consideration, is that word you mentioned, closure. There has to be a closure before starting over again. Otherwise, we end up in the habit of repeating the same old habit, the same old formula, the same old method and processes, which are then counterproductive. And so, Your Excellency, I thank you so much for all that you have shared with us, words of wisdom. If life don't go the way we want it, we need to think about starting over. Think about how we're going to do things, how we can do things better instead of reinventing the wheel. So once again, Your Excellency, from my own personal angle, I want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity. This is a development for me. This is training for me. There is improvement, and I'm hoping that each time this presentation takes place, we go a long way to improving. And I'm hoping to give a presentation for 2 hours. I understand this. My timing is very sharp and short, but yes. I look forward to doing much better, Your Excellency. And I hope that everyone that is listening to us, be it on YouTube, LinkedIn, on all the platforms in which we are represented, I hope that there is something here for everyone to take along with them, whether they are in business, whether they are in relationship, whether they're thinking, proposing to ditch something which they have started for something new. I hope there are good key ingredients to support every plan that any one of us on this platform or listening to us has got to enhance their plan into the future in relation to starting all over again. So thank you for your input, for your great word of wisdom. And once again, thanks to everyone or His Excellencies on the platform for giving me the opportunity to bring this presentation. Thank you, Your Excellency. God be with you.
Thank you so very much, Your Excellency Zionist Amaka Curry. Thank you so very much for your submission. Minister Ewers, Chief of Protocol, I want you to unmute yourself, and I want to ask you, what have challenged you from what I shared? I want you to tell me, Your Excellency Dr. Donald Ewers, from what I have shared, what have challenged you, if anything? Have I challenged you in any way?
A pleasant good evening, Your Excellency. I listened to you loud and clear on what you've said. I take in what you've said, and but how I would express and articulate myself to what you said, this is my thought process in what you're saying. We have a destiny, each one of us have a destination in life and the journey, as Zionist just said. And if we are going to take the bus to go just figure of speech, to Scotland. Some people will take the M1, some people will take the M25, some people will take the M6, some people will take distant destination to reach that destination. As I said, I'm using this as an example. And so some people, you will, to reach Scotland, they will take 2 hours, some will take 4 hours, some will take 5 hours, some will even go to reach there the next day, some will reach next week in the destiny that they're going, their destination, talking about the journey and the takes of what you say. What I'm trying to say, sir, so where how people look at things or discern things or say things, another person will look at it on a total different aspect. Not that they not want to reach the destination, but they look at it in a different aspect. However, we all have our life, we all have example. Our parents have taught us all the good things in life and learn how to grow up as a young man or a young woman and so on. When you grow up, you have to have that own responsibility and in life journey how to reach and what the goals are in life. Some of it will be hard, some of it is not that easy, some of it may take longer, some of it may take time. My father always used this expression, there's nothing called I can't, nothing in the world. He always tell me that, he engraved that in my head. There's no such thing as I can't. There's always a possibility. So what I'm trying to say, sir, and listen and summarizing that what you've said, sir, take what you're saying, and I hear you loud and clear. But my journey is not yours, yours is not mine. However, I remain and I stay myself in the will of God. And I know a lot of times people think that God is going to, if people have the concept that God, they're praying for a car and they think God is going to come down out of heaven and give you the car. They're praying for a house, they're praying for a wife, they're praying for a husband, they're praying for something, and they think it's just going to be handed into that. But God has a way, a means, a how, that you, out of the time where you don't think the least, things fall into place. So I take what you're saying, sir, and I hear you loud and clear. And I take the challenge in what you're saying in life, to close, to open, to look, and to seek, and to put yourself out there. If you are looking for selling a product and you don't put it out there, that product, and you have it in the back of the shop or the back of that product will never sell, because you have it in the corner, just grow dust. But the moment you shine it and put it up, eyes are looking at that product. And so therefore, sir, the product what you're talking about, to shine and rise and shine, if you don't put the product out there in the front line, nobody will notice it. Nobody will come forward. Nobody will want to buy it. So I will summarize you, sir, your challenge and what you're saying, that God has a way to do things. And I put myself in particular in that area, that God has a way to turn things around. And as the writer said, sometimes weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. My brother, the joy will come as long as you put yourself out there for that product, to be on that shelf, to be out there somewhere, whether it is a job, whether it is a long time partner, whether it is, but everybody's journey is different. And many times you're mentioned about how many times, for example, you're married. Not everybody's going to be, you've said it many times, and I quote what you said. Nobody can be like Dr. Michael SteelE. Nobody can be like Donald Ewers. Our journey is different. Our life is different. Our destiny is different. So when you are in that will, the God Almighty that we serve has a way to make things happen. So I take your challenge. I hear your word loud and clear. You don't need to reiterate it at my age. I understand you perfectly, what you're saying. However, I leave everything in the hands of the Almighty. Thank you, sir.
You know, Your Excellency, I think this demands that I close this recording, and then I'll speak with the class after. But before I do that, let me ask Dr. Charles. I haven't closed the recording yet. Dr. Charles, what is your take on what I spoke? What is your take, Dr. Charles?
Your Excellency, my take on this is closure. You cannot start all over again without first of all stopping. I think when it comes to something like relationship, and you feel that it is not working, and you are holding it with one hand and go and want to start another without first of all closing one, I think that is bigamy, and it wouldn't work. Then I got something you said, that life is a journey and not a destination. I believe that so much. But one problem that so many people have in starting all over again is dealing with pride. Somebody who cannot swallow his pride cannot start all over again. So in order to start, we have to deal with our pride and swallow our pride. Because we begin to think, what will people say? Me that is supposed to be on the top. How can people know that I am on the ground, starting all over again? But like I once said before, if you know where you are going, the vision of where you want to be will be your motivating power or factor. Like I once quoted, that one's appetite worketh for him because his belly urges him on. So the power of the vision of where you are going, even though something happened and you fall by the wayside, you count your costs and then retrace your steps and then start. I think on this note, I say, sir, you have been so wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much for your submission. Chukwuemeka, what is your take on what I shared? Chukwuemeka, talk to us. The recording is still going, it's still live. So speak to the world and tell the world what your take on it is. Chukwuemeka.
Okay, thank you very much for the deep words. I actually do not have much anything to add to it. Your words are very clear and they are very sound. And I think there is nothing I'll add than what I've taken home that I will need to digest and put into practice. They need to stop first before starting a new one. And as the last, I think as Dr. Olukoya, Architect Olukoya said, it's dealing with pride is a main hindrance to stopping, because most times we as human beings will say, what will people say, and what people will not say will now determine if some people will need to stop or not. So that clearly shows that we have to be, or I have to be disciplined to know when to stop something that is not working, so that it can enable me or enable us to start afresh, disciplined, and not always look at and consider what people will say before doing what is right. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you so very much for your submission, Chukwemeka. Your Excellency, Bishop Dr. Comfort Adu, we're still recording. What is your take to the world on what I shared? What would you say to the world? They're watching you, listening to you.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Bishop Dr. Mike Still. My take is what you were saying, that if you are stuck on the road and they are hooting at you, pip, 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 you have to park aside and let the others go. So I was asking myself, what is His Excellency trying to say? How would one know that one is stuck up on the road? You understand? Because you are moving and then you have got stuck on the road. The others, if the others want to pass by, they must pass by. Or is that there's no way on the on the other side of the road, by the way? And it's very interesting. It is true. When you get stuck on the way, you have to decide either you are moving forward or you are parking aside. And as I said, when you are confronted with what people term it a failure, or things does not go the right way you want it to be, you just fall down like the fire service man would say, and you roll on over. That is taking stock. Then when you get up, you know whether to move forward or to park aside. Sometimes it's better to park aside for some time and see how the world is going. My second take is, when the flat tire, or when you have a flat tire, you have to get up and then what should I say? Fix it. People don't like fixing up problems. They will just let the problem lie down and then try to do another thing. It will not work. If you don't solve the previous problem, how can you move forward? Because it's by solving the previous problem that will help you to move to the next one, so that you will know that this new, for example, this new project that I have started, the other one, these are what I was confronted with. And this is how I was able to solve it. Now, with this new one that I've taken on, I'll not repeat myself the way that things were not going well. I will now have wisdom and then move ahead and do things much better. Thank you, Your Excellency. This is all that I want to say to what you gave to us. It was a nice presentation. You put the icing on top. Thank you so much.
Bishop Dr. Comfort, you asked a very interesting question before I stopped the live. It's a very interesting question. How do you know that you're stopped in the road? How do you know? That's a very interesting question, and I'll answer it for you. One, the most important thing that you will note is when you are in an environment where you're watching everybody go ahead and you're seeing that everybody is getting ahead, but you are not getting any further, that's when you know you're stopped in the road. When you realize that things are happening for others, but they're not happening for you, and you ask yourself, why are they not happening for me? The truth of the matter is, that's because you're actually stopped in the road. That's because you're not moving. That's because you're not making any progress. That's because everybody's hooting the horn at you to get out of the way. So for your business, you started a business with the same time as one of your schoolmates or one of your friends, and you see their businesses going ahead and they have good times and bad times, but they're catching some good days and they're smiling sometimes, but you're always fretting and complaining. Oh, my business is horrible. It's not working. I don't know. Business is not for me. That's not true. You stop. You're parked in the road. You're blocking the way. And those are the signs that tell you you're parked. You're beautiful and attractive, and somebody's seeing you and say, "Ooh, darling, you're looking really nice, and you're single, you're available." And but ooh, I'm really, I'm noticing you. And you're thinking to yourself, excuse me, please, I beg. And you know, it's an insult or frustration to you because you're looking in the mirror and you're saying to yourself, oh, I don't look good. Oh, I'm so fat. Oh, I'm so bony. Oh, I'm so bloated. Oh, I'm so thin. So many different excuses of hatred for yourself. Some of you men, oh, I'm an emotional wreck. I'm a frustration. I don't have it together. People are not seeing what you are seeing. And as a result of that, they're realizing you're stuck in the road. Get out of the road if you don't recognize that you're blocking traffic. So those are some of the signs that will tell you you are blocking traffic. Zionist is a wonderful speaker. And she's getting to that place of identifying, yes, I am a speaker. And when the subject fits me, I'm going to show my style. I'm going to show my ability and my capacity because you have the subject that fits what you want to speak on. So you glow, you flow, and you're confident. So when you get into your realm, you're more confident and comfortable. And that is what happens to all of us when we are in an environment where we are struggling to stay on the track or struggling to meet up to the standard of everybody else. That's when we are actually blocking traffic. And we need to decide, am I supposed to get out of this road and let those who know how to do this journey go on it? Or do I continue, but I ask somebody along the way, excuse me, sir, could you please tell me how comes you are driving so confidently and comfortably on this road? And every time I drive this road, I keep getting a flat tire. And they tell you, you see those little potholes? Don't drop in those potholes. Because if you drop in those potholes, you will get a flat tire. And what do? You say, thank you so very much. And then you start driving, and others on that same journey are going to be looking at you and saying, wow, how could you do it so well, so confident? It's because you had a mentor. It's because you had someone that is on that journey that told you how to do it. And you trusted them, and you took their advice, and now you're doing it. I want to talk to my class privately off of the public space. So with that, I'm going to thank all of you who are in our public environment for listening in to the class of SteelE. But this is where now I go privately, and I will speak to my class other things that I will not speak publicly. So thank you so very much. I'm Dr. Michael SteelE, and I look forward to seeing you in the next class. If you want to get the full scoop, join us on the inside where there's a whole lot more meat to the bones. Good evening and God bless. Bye for now. All right, let me stop these recordings. Just 1 second.